Hey everyone, it's Dr. Karen, the Women's Midlife Specialist, and I have a great one for you today because this is a 46-year-old lovely lady who is irregular, having irregular periods, and she says, therefore, she's premenopausal. Okay, so if somebody is irregular, then they're probably actually perimenopause instead of premenopause. So, perimenopause kind of meaning it could be anywhere from a couple of months to a couple of years away from menopause, but it's that time where the hormones are really fluctuating, particularly estrogen up and down, and that is what can cause some really crazy irregular periods. So she's a little early in comparison to the average woman who goes through menopause at age 52. And that basically perimenopause starts happening around age 48, 49. So a couple of years early, I would say. And a lot of things can cause this, like stress is a big one, family history, like mom or uh, sister. Hashimoto's thyroid condition can cause this, or even an illness can cause someone to go into perimenopause early. So she appears, if we're looking at her therapy, she appears to be on hormone heaven. And, the bummer is I don't know if she's using one or two pumps twice daily, but my guess is that she's using two pumps twice daily because that's generally what I recommend. She's not overweight at all. Her BMI is 23 and a half, so she's got a great BMI. And let's see, when we look at her hormones, now we don't have a previous lab result before she started on Hormone Heaven, but we've got a good estradiol, 4.5. So if you're using an estrogen replacement, then your reference range is going to be between a zero point 0.8 and 12, and she's 4.5. Now, ZRT is very conservative. That's one of the things I like about them. So they rate their reference optimal range between 1.3 and 3.3. So 4.5 is still within the estrogen replacement normal reference range. So what do I find? I find women generally feel better in optimally if they're at least 3.3, maybe a little bit outside that. But in the lower range, they generally feel, not that much better. Okay, so the progesterone, though, is 91, and that's a little low for somebody who is supplementing with progesterone. And therefore, if you divide 4.5 into 91, you get the progesterone to estrogen ratio, which is very low. Now, you might say, now, wait a minute. Dr. Karen, you said if we use your products, you will not be in estrogen dominance. You'll have a good progesterone to estrogen ratio. However, what I want to remind you is this, if that's your question, is this, and I'm going to show you our graph in just a minute. So between the age of 35 and 50, progesterone declines a lot faster than our estrogen. So we have this difference, we have a larger difference between this uh, progesterone level and this estrogen level. This is a much larger difference than over here. You see how much shorter these lines are, or how much shorter this line is from over here where AS is currently. Now, if you look also, if she had done her labs prior to starting Hormone Heaven, she probably would have been in this category over here where she needed both Hormone Heaven and Hormone Protect. So you can see if she had tested before, she probably would have been um, uh, less than 1.3. She probably would have been less than 50. And so she would have needed both of these Hormone Heaven and Hormone Protect. But no worry, because we can fix that now. And that's why I'm really, really glad that she did this test, because we can get her out of estrogen dominance very easily by just tweaking it and adding that Hormone Protect. Now, what we also want to do, though, is that we want to look at how much Hormone Heaven she may actually need at this time. So, and how much extra progesterone AS needs to get her out of estrogen dominance. Okay, so, so what one of the possibilities, if there is no change in the Hormone Heaven and she's using 2 pumps twice per day, her dose would be 2 pumps twice per day, because she's now, what we would look at actually is the amount of estrogen that she has now. And this chart is actually based on someone who is not supplementing, and that optimal level being between 1.3 and 3.3. So I've got it up to 3.3. And I think, based on the fact that more and more people are doing this after the fact that they have used a product, either Hormone Heaven or Hormone Support, we need to upgrade the charts and bring it all the way up from 0.8 to 12. So with a progesterone to estrogen ratio with our less than 20, we're going to put her right here at less than 20 of this progesterone to estrogen ratio. And the amount of Hormone Protect or progesterone she needs to add is 2 pumps in the morning and 2 pumps at bedtime. And that will correct this estrogen to progesterone dominance, while she's also using 2 pumps twice per day of Hormone Heaven. Okay, but let me ask you a question, and let me answer the question as well. Does AS actually need to change the dose of her Hormone Heaven? And if so, would that change the dose that she needed of Hormone Protect? So let's take a look at her symptoms and see if we can answer this question better after looking at her symptoms, because 4.5 is perfectly fine, right? So 4.5 with estradiol is actually good. So let's see what her symptoms look like and see if we can answer this question. While we're at it, though, before we go anywhere, let's first look at the testosterone. I'm sorry about that. Testosterone's not bad, 42, and DHEA is 3.9. So if we look at that, we're down here at the lowest end of normal for her age, and we want to optimize that. We optimize that, it's going to help her testosterone as well. Okay, so now let's go. I think you guys have that down pat, because that's pretty easy. Now, here's our symptoms. Here's our symptoms. We've got quite a few symptoms that are being felt in the severe range, and we've got a mess of everything. We've got a bunch of stuff in the moderate range, but I want to show you, I'm going to use this to show you something else, but look at all these severe symptoms. So when we look down here at the categories of how excuse me, how the categories of how these are ranged, our highest complaint is actually low androgens, not estrogen or progesterone deficiency, which is down here. It's the fourth highest complaint. So low androgens, we can fix that, but I do want to tell you that low androgen symptoms can be also mixed up with cortisol issues, because high and low cortisol complaints can also look like androgen. And guess what else it can look like? Excuse me. It can look like low metabolism or low thyroid symptoms. And sure enough, she's got low cortisol symptoms as the second highest complaint, and she's got low metabolism complaints as the third highest complaint, and then she's got low progesterone and low estrogen as her fourth complaint. So we're really looking at we definitely know we need to improve our DHEA. That's going to help the testosterone, but we're also looking at some cortisol issues and probably some thyroid issues. And we can possibly improve the estrogen and progesterone. We definitely have to improve the progesterone deficiency or estrogen dominance. Okay, we definitely know we want to do that and improve the DHEA. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. And when I look at um, cortisol, I always go to the stress. I always look at the stress thing. And when I saw all these kind of clumped together, it made me feel like it was the perfect time to show you exactly how to read these kinds of graphs. So, what CRT does is it bubbles in a dark bubble if it's a significant um, symptom of a particular category. So, this first one, if you follow it down, you're going to find metabolic syndrome. Now, we know she's got a good BMI, but these two things here, elevated triglycerides and waist weight gain, falls under these four categories. So, under these two, it falls under metabolic. So, with the elevated triglycerides and the waist weight gain, this is specifically probably not tolerating high carb foods very well. So that would be a great thing to think about, is decreasing that high carbohydrate food. The second category is the metabolic or low thyroid, cold body temperature, elevated triglycerides, common with low thyroid. So you can go up and look where you fall on all of these symptoms. So foggy thinking, sleep disturbed, headaches, aches and pains, morning fatigue, evening fatigue, all of these, look at all these bubbled in areas that show low thyroid, quite a few. Now, this swelling and puffy face, this was severe. This is a dead giveaway right here of low thyroid. So we'll get to that in just a minute, but you see how I use these symptoms and see how important these symptoms are in assessing what is going on. This is true functional medicine. We're not just looking at numbers, we're looking at um, how you feel as well. Okay, so the third category over here, stress and weight gain, that is high cortisol. And then down here we've got three. I'm just looking at this five grouping here. We've got three right there in the low cortisol. We've got two in the high androgens. Let's see, we've got none in the low androgens. Is that correct? Is that high? Yes. And low androgens, we really don't have any in the low androgens. This is in the estrogen dominance. This one is in the estrogen or progesterone deficiency. Okay, so you can do this for yourself along everybody can now look at their symptoms and say, wow, that's related to so and so, right? Wow, look at how many I have in this category or that category. And that's really what I want you to do. I want you to really be empowered to look at your symptoms and say, this is really indicating what is going on with me, and know where you need to go in terms of how to care for yourself. That's what I really want for you, is to empower you to figure out how to care for yourself. Now, when this whole thing started and I said I'd read your lab, I was really talking about the estrogen and progesterone, but there's just no way. I'm just not that kind of individual. When I see something as a big picture, I'm just stuck. I have to look at it as a big picture. So let's go back and answer this question. Could we change the hormone heaven to a different dose? And would that then change the dosing of Hormone Protect? We know she needs to add Hormone Protect. We know that AS is still estrogen dominant. She's improved her estradiol quite well, but we need more progesterone because she's 46 and she's still in this big category where her estrogen is going up and down and the progesterone is plummeting at a faster rate. 75% reduction of progesterone between the age of 35 and 50, and only a 35% reduction of estrogen between the ages of 35 and 50. And this is what causes this estrogen dominance, and why people who have not gone through menopause after a good bit after menopause, a couple of years at least after menopause, where we kind of balance out, we're no longer in estrogen dominance, we're just depleted in everything. So where are we going to go from this? Okay, so this can be tough. If she's feeling really good in terms of those estrogen symptoms and she appears to not have many estrogen symptoms anymore, then she may not want to decrease her hormone heaven. However, she might be able to. As she's 4.5, she may be able to for the next year or two. She could decrease her hormone heaven to actually 1 pump twice per day. So here's what I feel it would be good for AS. She has a choice. If she stays on hormone heaven twice per day because she likes how she feels with that better estrogen level, it's certainly not too high, then she could do that, but she needs to add 2 pumps twice daily of Hormone Protect. On the other hand, if she decreases her hormone heaven to 1 pump twice a day, she can add Hormone Protect to 1 pump twice per day. She may feel just as good because this will balance her, but it won't bring her estradiol will come down a little bit. It'll be in the optimal range, but her progesterone will come up, and that will take her out of the progesterone to estrogen. It will take her out of estrogen dominance and bring up her progesterone to estrogen ratio. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, just rewind and listen again. All right, now for the DHEA. All right, let's take a look here. She's on 100 milligrams of oral 7 keto DHEA. She may be trying to increase her energy level because her energy level is low. If you think that you're getting help with that with your energy level, you're still ranking your morning and afternoon energy level as low, if I recall correctly. Here it is: morning fatigue, evening fatigue. It's severe. So I'm not sure you're getting a bang for your buck there, my darling. You may want to, try a time off of this 7 keto DHEA. It can be fairly expensive, but I do think that you need to support this uh, low for your age DHEA, regular DHEA. Now, no sublingual, you don't want any anxiety. So, this being on the low end of normal, this is not so hot. It's not great for the adrenal glands to be that low. It's not good for your immune system to be on the low end of normal. And if you supplement with regular DHEA, it will also help bring your testosterone up a little bit and help with some of those low androgen symptoms as well. So, as usual, this is what I always recommend in terms of DHEA. I recommend a highly micronized and excellent brand orthomolecular, and that's starting at 5 milligrams for a month and then increasing to 10 milligrams after that. Not sublingual. You want to take this by mouth. Okay, so let's move on and see what else we got, because we've already talked about some adrenal issues and we certainly have talked about some potential thyroid issues as well. Now, before we go on, I want to also point out that the vaginal dryness is severe, and at age 46 we can't have that. So I highly recommend you give the Happy Hoo Hoo a try. It does have progesterone in it, and I will say after your hoo hoo becomes a little happier, you do start to have more of it kind of seep out overnight. So when you first start off, you're not going to have any seeping out because all those tissues are going to be absorbing it like crazy. So there's a little bit of progesterone in it. So you will also get a little bit of progesterone absorbed from the inner thighs and around the vaginal area. I know I experienced that. I like it. It's not a greasy feeling at all. And in the morning, it's very easy, to just kind of, when you go to the bathroom, it just comes right off. Okay, so I highly recommend the Happy Hoo Hoo for your vaginal dryness. Now, let's talk about the next thing, thyroid. I'm highly suspicious of your thyroid, AS. I don't know if you've gone to your doc and talked with him about checking your thyroid. You can do this yourself with ZRT, blood spot. You can get a TSH, free T4, free T3, and a TPO with blood spot. They're very accurate. Or you could go to your doctor and get all of that as well through venous blood testing. If you do venous blood testing, I highly recommend getting a reverse T3 as well. ZRT does not offer a reverse T3, but with regular blood, venous blood, you can get that. Now, after you get those results, this is the optimal levels that you want. You want to look at your free T4 and your free T3. You want these values to be in the mid to higher range of normal reference range. You don't want them out of the reference range. You want it to be mid to higher reference range. You want the reverse T3 to be in the opposite, because reverse T3 is not an active hormone. In fact, it takes up the receptor sites of your free T3 and doesn't allow your free T3 to bind to those receptor sites, which can make you more tired. So you want your reverse T3 to be in the no higher than the mid-range, so mid-range to lower reference range. For an optimal TSH, you want it to be between 0.5 and 1.3, not the reference range that they're going to give you. So anti-aging functional medicine reference ranges can be plus or minus 0.3. So 0.5 to 1.3 plus or minus 0.3, that's where you want it to be. Okay, so if your labs don't fall in these reference ranges, but they're still in the reference ranges that your lab gives you, then you want to start on this supplement. Meaning, okay, let me define what that means. That means if they're outside the reference ranges, you probably need a a medication through your doctor. So your doctor will take care of that. But if you fall within the reference ranges, but you don't fall within the anti-aging or functional medicine reference ranges, this is the supplement for you. Okay, so this will help you and support your thyroid gland, and improve your thyroid function. Okay, hope that makes sense. All right, now what about the adrenal glands? Well, we know you need some help there. I don't know if you take a good multivitamin and mineral. These are three excellent products. I like using these three because they all have their purpose. This Adrenal Vive is excellent if you have both high and low symptoms. If you have primarily or you have low symptoms only and you have a low cortisol level, this is for a low cortisol level. Don't use this product if you have a normal cortisol level. Use this product if you have truly a low cortisol level because it has adrenal concentrate in it. And I really don't recommend using adrenal concentrate unless you truly have a low cortisol level. Adrenal Vive can be used for both low and cortisol levels, and so can Adaptin-All. The difference between these two is if you are already on a multivitamin, this is the one to choose, a good multivitamin, okay, with omega-3 fatty acid, okay? So not just a little one a day, barely, get you covered, but a good one, this is the one. If you're not on a good one, this is the one you want to adapt in all. Okay, so I didn't put it in here, AS, but I do like Life Extension's comprehensive nutrient packets. They're very reasonably priced, and they have everything you need if you need a multivitamin. Okay, AS, and all of you lovely ladies out there, I hope this helped you. I know there was a lot of focus on a lot of different things. I loved this video, and I hope you did too. If you did, you give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you better give me a thumbs up anyway. And hey, share it with your friends. And don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any videos coming up. All right, take care and be good. Bye bye.